Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Vikings Fest. I haven't been on in a while, but had to post this podcast with football right around the corner in a month. It's going to be training camp, we hope. I guess the NFL and the NFL Players Association are making sure the players understand what could happen. Um, this is serious. This virus will not go away, but we have to have football. So uh, I'm getting that always around this time of year. I start getting football eyes. I start feeling the hits and watching the plays and all that. So it's gonna be awesome. Before I launch into Viking football, I want to talk about. I have now two cats, and let me just bring them up. The first one is the one that was hanging outside my back area. It was like this little thing, and looking up at me, saying, "Take me in. I'm suffering out here." And I took it in, and it's now living here, and it owns the place. And then the one next to it, the gray cat, was another stray that the mother had in my back area. And I started feeding it, but I would not let it in. I would try to get in the back door, and I would kick it, say, "No, you can't come in." And then one weekend, I didn't see it around. I didn't see it on a Saturday, didn't see it on a Sunday, and I'm hearing this like noise near my washer and dryer, and I can see the other cat, the black and brown cat, go near that area and sniffing around. And it sounds like there's something back there, and I kind of take a look and I don't see it. And then I'm thinking maybe it's outside of that area, so I walk outside and I look and I don't see it. And then I'm hearing this meow. I'm like, God, it sounds like it's like right there. Again, I go in the back and I don't see it. And then later that Sunday, the meow gets a little bit, louder, and I'm thinking, is that cat like somehow behind the dryer that I can't see? So I take the dryer out, feel the exhaust vent, and I don't feel anything in it. And I'm like, well, it must just be around, and I'm hearing a meow, but it's not inside. And then the following day, Monday morning, I hear the meow really bad, like meow, meow. And I'm like, is that thing in the dryer? So I go and I pull the dryer apart in the back. I pull out the exhaust vent. I grab a flashlight and I shine it in the exhaust, vent into the blower. And I can see the little tail of this gray cat because it was only a tiny thing. It crawled in the dryer vent because outside I haven't cleaned it or whatever. It was stuck open, so it could crawl in. It crawled all the way inside and into the dryer, in through the vent into the blower, and then I have to like pull it out. It runs back in. I pull it out again. This time it runs around. It doesn't go in that same hole. So then I plug it up with a T-shirt or something like that, and it still won't come out. I just let it sit there, and then it finally came out. I took off somewhere. I left everything just wide open in the back of the dryer, and then I leave and I come back, and it's inside the house. And I'm thinking, you know what? This thing put in all this effort to get in the house. Now I got to keep it. And so I go and I pick it up and I try to make it feel comfortable, and then I got to introduce it to my cat Lena. And here's what happens when I introduced to her and I allowed her to stay in with my cat Lena. Watch. She doesn't. She's like pounding the living boom. She's like all over this cat. And then, I mean, all day, and then she's being nice right here, but watch, she won't let it go. Now she's hovering, she's gonna pound it again. She hits it. Won't let it go. Watch, she's like, and I was starting to get worried because, I mean, this little cat is like, meowing and, get off of me, get off of me. When I would leave, I would have to take one of them and put him in like a room and shut the door because I didn't want to come back and find the little one dead, from the abuse, but constant. But now let me go back to this pick. They're like family now. They sleep together and they wrestle and they kiss each other and I don't know this other one if it's a boy or a girl. I got to take it to the vet to figure that out. But all in a day. I do have tickets for sale, but I don't think we're going to sell them because there won't be any fans in the stadium. Let's get back to Viking football. Dalvin Cook. Uh, so I don't know if anyone has ever played running back, whether in high school or pee wees or whatever. But after you play running back, the next day your whole body is sore because you're getting hit from all these different angles. Uh, it's incredible. And so I think Dalvin Cook is worth every bit of the $13 million that I think he's asking for. If nothing else, just because he takes such a beating. I mean, if you're going to give Kirk Cousins $30 million, you got to give Dalvin Cook 13. And if I'm Dalvin, and you're saying, well, I'm hurt, I don't play a complete season, I'll say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll go down after the first hit and not take the other 5 or 6 when I try to get the extra yards, and that'll guarantee that I'll stay I'll play the whole season without getting hurt because I'm not trying to get the extra yards and get the extra abuse from the million hits that I'm going to take. Um, so I think you give Dalvin Cook $13 million. I think he's worth 13, probably more, but at least 13. And you go with it, And if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. But you watch how he plays. I mean, the guy is. I mean, he's just not going down after one hit. I mean, he's taken at least 5 or 6 hits every time he touches the ball, and some of them he's getting pounded, like the hit that almost broke his shoulder. If you watch that play, he was going lateral, parallel to the goal line, and this big old animal lineman, caught him as he was trying to cut into the end zone, and he caught him at a bad angle and then drove his shoulder into the turf. So, that comes with the territory. I mean, that's what running backs have to deal with. I mean, they're getting pounded just about every time they touch the ball. I mean, I know he'll go out of bounds every now and again, but if you put on a Dalvin Cook, highlight reel, you'll see plays where he's like getting hit at least 5 or 6 times from linebackers and then DBs that are, coming down from the top to put a good hit on him. I mean, he's not just dropping back and then, lobbing a screen pass, or not that Kirk doesn't get hit, but he's not getting hit, constantly like Dalvin Cook is on every play that he touches the ball. And then on the plays that he's in that he's not touching the ball, he's blocking. So he's blocking could be a linebacker or a defensive end, that he's helping with the offensive tackle with, So in my opinion, you give Dalvin Cook $13 million at least a year. given the player that he is and given the beating that he takes. I mean, the guy, running backs take a beating. You ask any running back how they feel after a Sunday game, sore, extremely sore from getting pounded. Let's hope for a great season. It's going to be, I'm getting this feeling like this is our year. The Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl, but there won't be any fans in the stands, and there won't be any parade. We won't have a parade because of the virus. We can't go outside, and it's going to be one of those kind of deals. I'll be pissed. I'll be pissed. I want a full, real season with a real, Super Bowl. If they play the Super Bowl, will there be fans? In that stadium, wherever it is. I think it's in Tampa this year. Very bizarre, very bizarre. So, um, all in all, it feels good to have football kind of right around the corner. I hope they work it out. I certainly hope they have fans in the stands. It's not looking too good for that. But then again, if they don't have fans in the stands and they just play the game without fans, it's going to be maybe kind of cool to watch because you can then really hear the hits. It's kind of like when you watch UFC, with no fans and there's a knockout. You can really hear, the punches to the body and to the head and the kicks and all that. It's a different feel and sound. I think football will have the same kind of feeling because there'll be more echo. There's no fans in the stands, and it's going to be weird. But it is what it is, and let's hope for the best. And let's hope. Let's just hope for the best, and let's skol out. Skol, skol, skol.